The talk show where we talk about TikTok. I'm just kidding. We don't talk about TikTok.
I love TikTok, man.
We will talk about TikTok. Welcome back to fksalad. I have a great guest today. We have Jacob Morris. I feel like we're friends. We haven't seen each other in years.
Never, yeah.
We originally connected on a small project for, oh my God, we have so much to dive into here.
It's been forever.
It's been forever. So I'm happy to have you on. Jacob is gonna talk a lot about what he does, and I'm gonna be pounding off questions because we're in the same kind of industry, or at least I really envy the kind of work that you do. Before we jump into that, however, I gotta ask you, sweet or savory?
Sweet, 100%.
Sweet,
oh,
okay.
No question.
Well, we have got, I wish I made this. Today, we've got a little poppy seed carrot cake that I'd love for you to dive into.
Any kind of loaf.
Any
I'm
loaf.
into it.
Well, let's try this loaf. This is not a mukbang. This is just Jacob trying some carrot cake.
Just a bite, full on bite?
I mean, you do what you gotta do, man.
I have to say,
bite.
it's fairly dense, but okay, here we go.
I'm gonna try it next. I picked it up.
Kind of crumbly.
Is it missing some? Oh, it is. Well, this car's a disaster.
But a good kind of crumble, I would say.
It's good. Very dry.
It would go well with, like, I would have like an English breakfast tea alongside.
Yeah, or like a nice coffee.
I've already had a coffee today. I can't do more than one.
Well, this is here for us to pick away at throughout if we'd like.
Just a little dab here and there.
Otherwise, hey, maybe if we record your podcast today, we bring this inside.
Oh, dude, bring the loaf wherever we go. I'm in.
The loaf's in for the adventure. Jacob and I just reconnected because, so random. But he beat me to it. He asked me to be on his podcast before I could ask him. And you were on my hit list because I'd just seen your sister.
Right, yes.
And I was ready to go. So I guess your sister mentioned that we saw each other.
And you haven't recorded, you said you were maybe going to record with her?
I'm definitely going to.
At some point.
She'll be in the next, like, maybe 10 episodes after you.
Have you been in Montreal?
Yes.
To record?
Not yet. I'm taking this show on the road.
It's ready to go.
Dude, this
I
is
love
a
it.
mobile studio. We're doing, you'll hear about this soon, but we're doing New York, we're doing Montreal, Ottawa, and then we're actually going to the UK. So don't ask me how I'm going to do that.
You can pop this on a ferry and
Can you imagine? Pop this on the ferry, or maybe just the rig on the ferry.
Yeah,
right?
just buy the exact same car. You'll just flip where you're sitting.
Well, that's what I've been thinking about. I'm like, if I'm in the UK and I'm doing it with friends, they're gonna have to be in the driver's seat because I'm gonna need to stay on this side of
Yeah, what's gonna happen? You gotta keep it consistent. Consistency is key.
It's all a mess, right? But yeah, I feel like you're one to know about consistency and what works on the internet, what doesn't. Do you want to kind of dive into some of the work that you do?
Yeah. So what I do is I do a few different things. Primarily for business these days, I do talent management for, for lack of a better term, influencers. Mm-hmm. So top digital creators who have a lot of followers. I'm kind of the middleman between a lot of their business ventures, so brand partnerships, perhaps like co-branded products that they want to put out. And that sort of thing. And then, I'm working with the various agencies and brands who kind of want to promote stuff with them. So I'm kind of the guy doing the emails, doing the phone calls on a day-to-day basis, as they're like, a lot of my clients are in the kind of travel lifestyle space. So they're flying all over the world in different time zones. And I'm the guy like behind the computer, tap, 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 tap.
Love that.
Yeah.
You've always kind of done, how do I word this? You've always had like maybe a knack for getting like brand deals and stuff, because I remember that project you did like 4 or 5 years ago.
Right, Run to Wellness, how we connected.
You had some great brands on that project.
Yeah, so I mean, I think one thing that not makes me like good at what I do, mm-hmm. but like is something that people should like shoot for, is just kind of like knowing your value and like what you can bring to a creative project, and then not being afraid to like go out and ask for something. Right. So I'm someone who's like, if I'm doing any kind of creative project, I'm gonna ask for, whether it's like a sponsorship or just someone like paying for something. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna at least go out and make the ask, 9 times out of 10 it might not work, especially if you're not super well known. But like that one time, you're gonna get some free shit that's pretty dope.
Yeah. Where did that where did that initially like start or stem from? How did you really get into like knowing to put your foot in the door?
Yeah, I mean, back in the day, so I've been living in Toronto for just over 10 years now. I came here for school, studying radio and television arts, which is like a fairly broad program at Ryerson. And when I was there, I kind of steered into kind of the digital marketing, digital production world of things. And kind of everything that I've done since has had a little bit of everything. So like I've done music video production, commercial production, all kinds of digital media stuff, and then obviously working with influencers. It's like the creative industries these days are changing so fast that like people don't really know what's going on.
Yeah, that's true.
So like you can kind of make it up as you go. And as long as you're able to communicate, I think, again, your value and kind of stand behind your project and like effectively communicate what you're trying to put out into the world, I feel like people pretty easily will like start to resonate with that and either want to collaborate with you in some way to help work on that project, or just support it in another way, whether that's like monetarily or by providing products or what have you.
Love that, man. Have you always kind of done this like on your own and not been, so when you talk about like producing music videos and now like brand manager, this is like your business, right? This is I've had only one. I mean, freelancing, you have clients who are technically your boss, I suppose. That's true.
But I've only had one real boss in my life. I'm gonna turn 30 this May.
Crazy.
So like, I'm just like not used to that. And I talk to people all the time who've like, and that's not to say like I'm against like working a retail job in high school or anything. Of course, like obviously get your money, you know what I'm saying? Right. But like, I have always just kind of been really self-directed and wanting to have like at least somewhat of a say in what I'm doing. And I found like when I was working at this entertainment news website where I did have a boss and there was kind of a hierarchy and corporate kind of HR and all that kind of stuff involved. HR is important, but just like sometimes there's too many cooks in the kitchen and creativity can kind of die in those scenarios. I'd rather be working on things where I can like produce things that aren't going to be hindered in that kind of way.
Right. Like, when you're trying to like make money and then also like pick what you want to do and focus on that brings you in money.
Yeah.
You obviously probably came a time where you had to like pick and choose or wean some off. I know you do a bunch of different little things now.
Yeah.
But you've primarily like invested into one kind of business.
Yeah, I would say that like investing most of my time in my current business, which is primarily the influencer management side of things. I don't know if that's directly related entirely to like the amount of money that I bring in necessarily. I think it is important to do a whole lot of things.
Yeah.
Not like, I feel like when I'm 50, I'll still be wanting to like try a different things.
Yeah.
I think that's one thing that maybe I'm in a little, not a rut specifically, but like somewhat of a rut where I have put so much emphasis on my business and like trying to be successful in that in several different aspects of what success means. But I've lacked kind of those offside or, side projects that are far more creative, maybe aren't directly related to like wanting to bring in a whole lot of money, but like feed you creatively. Right. And like get you inspired. I could sit behind the computer, hop on phone calls all day, and maybe I'm gonna be like successful with my bank account's gonna have more money in it, but like I'll probably be way more depressed if I'm not like sitting in a car and like doing a sick show. You know what I mean?
Yes, I totally agree. So what was your last big personal project?
Well, that's the thing. I don't know. I think it's been long enough.
Was it Run to Wellness?
That
was a long. I mean, that was a big one.
That was definitely a big one. So yeah,
you can jump into that if you want.
Run to Wellness. It's still in the works. I have a copy on my computer that's like, so it's a documentary project. Really long story short, I'm someone who deals with a lot of depression and anxiety, and my primary way of kind of maintaining my health, my mental health around that is through exercise, and more specifically running. So back in the day, a few years ago, created the campaign Run to Wellness, where I wanted to take on this really big challenge of running 10 half marathons in 10 different cities all across the country to raise awareness about my own story, but then also connect with people and hopefully normalize the discussion around mental illness a little bit, while also supporting a good cause. So we donated some money that we had raised through the campaign to CAMH, that's based out of here in Toronto. I think that was definitely one of the bigger creative projects that I took on that was like 100% feeding me creatively, because it wasn't feeding me financially. It put me in a good amount of debt to actually go and do that. And I turned down a lucrative job offer to actually go on that campaign. But yeah, that was definitely one of the projects more recently in the last few years that was something that was just about feeding me. I think more recently, something that I've become way more passionate about, which is like way out of left field, but like still creative somewhat, is on the low, I'm like a part-time furniture salesman, which is like so random, but I got so stoked this morning because I won this chair on this auction. I'm gonna like fix it up, I'm gonna sell it. And again, I'm making like maybe like $5 a month off of this type of thing, because I'm just like reinvesting it in like buying furniture, fixing it up, selling it. A guy was at my house like not 2 hours ago picking up these like amazing teak side tables that I got. But I mean, I think that's like somewhat creative.
Of course. Well, and if it's not creative, it's still like fueling your passion for doing something for yourself.
Yeah,
right?
and I think like it is creative in the sense that I really like my home, and I mean, hopefully, I'm thinking about moving, but thinking about just home design and, you know, how you design a space to create a certain type of energy and what you feel in that space. I'm someone who's like really affected by that, so I love plants, I love really unique, cool furniture, stuff that like really gives you a vibe. Like, I hate how that sounds, but like, you know what I mean.
Fair.
And yeah, like again, I'm not making any money off of that, but it's something that is feeding me creatively for sure.
You want to take me inside and show me some of this furniture?
Dude, I'll show you all the furniture.
Okay, well we'll be right back.
Favorite fucking piece. This chair is actually out of the garbage.
These are cool.
These ones are sick. Okay.
And then they got those guys in the corner too.
All credit to you for that, because I've been trying to find stuff that like drives my passion too, and obviously I'm trying to keep it in the creative field, and lately it's been TikTok. I really didn't want to have this conversation with you. I don't think we'll carry it on too long.
Yeah.
Because I probably already mentioned it on the show. But have you been like studying TikTok, like knowing like you're in that kind of field? Let's start with that.
It's very interesting. I would say studying in the sense that like my partner Paige and I will go climb in bed at the end of the day and just like scroll through TikTok for probably like 15 minutes, half an hour.
Okay.
I mean, a lot of it's just laughing, but I 100% agree that is studying.
It is studying. Yeah. You're learning how the app works. You're learning like how people engage on it. You're learning its relationship to Instagram. You're learning like how it could maybe develop ads one day. Like it's just started unrolling ads and stuff.
We just started getting, like, a lot of my clients have just in the last probably month started getting a lot more incoming advertising proposals for TikTok, because they're kind of also just kind of building up their profiles. A lot of the people that I work with are primarily larger on Instagram.
Of course.
So they're transitioning over, but it's a crazy platform, and the amount of growth that it's kind of incurred over the last few months has just been nuts, and it's only continuing to go so fast, right?
But now you're obviously seeing too that the influence is still obviously on Instagram, because the influence on TikTok is like scaled, like it's terribly, like it's disproportionate. Right?
I think so. At least how I use the apps differently. You know, Instagram is a little bit more engaging. I would say like it's a little bit slower of a scroll. You know, I'll dive in and watch stories a little bit more in depthly. I feel like there's an easier way to engage with people. It feels a little bit more of a passive experience on TikTok going through. And yeah, I'm gonna watch the whole duration of the video, but I don't necessarily, you know, click on someone's profile and go and be like, I have to follow this person unless it's amazing. But yeah, I mean, it's also got crazy implications for the music industry, though, I think too.
Man, actually, I'd prefer to let's dive that way, because I was gonna dive more the influencer way. I've definitely talked about that already, or will be talking about it in future episodes.
Yeah.
But first, myself experiencing it firsthand when I was in Los Angeles for the first half, and pretty much majority of 2019 really, is artists talking about their connections to ad agencies or someone like yourself who has like TikTokers under their belt with millions of followers who will all drop the song at the same time, and it blows up. And you can look at that from everything from Roxanne by Arizona Zervas.
Huge track.
Huge track that blew up because of TikTok.
Yeah.
The biggest one that I would say has to be Falling by Trevor Daniel. That song came out it came out in 2018.
Right.
And if it didn't come out in 2018, no, it literally came out October 2018.
Old Town Road also blew up, did it not, on TikTok a little bit?
It did. It was one of the
Primarily
probably
SoundCloud.
one of the first ones.
The results you can get are nuts. And I mean, the other thing too is like how TikTok plays into just, culture in general is that everyone, they have touchstones where we're talking about. It throws back to like the Soulja Boy days, right? But like every week that there's a new kind of Soulja Boy craze where there's like a specific dance that everyone's doing. Like it's not just like passively watching a video and like being like, okay, there's the song on that, and maybe downloading it. You're bringing that out of the app into like your interactions with other people, which I think is just like spot on.
It's really cool that you mentioned the Soulja Boy thing, because you look at that back then and it was like maybe there was something new every like 6 months, maybe more. So when does this, like from your perspective as a talent manager, is this gonna slow down? Like it has to.
So.
It has to eventually.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know where the end is though. Like Instagram, like I said, is a little bit, I find at least, a little bit slower of an experience. But I mean, if you look at something 5 years ago, 6 years ago, even, where Facebook or Twitter were more popular, Instagram seems a whole lot faster than those platforms too. So like, I don't know where the end is. I hope that it starts to get a little bit easier to track things, because it's so tiring to like need to keep up with everything, or like have that FOMO, right? Of being like, you don't understand what's going on.
And I think now we're starting to see like the term micro-influencer, which is really nice, come through, because now you're getting, I'd almost call myself as a micro-influencer for certain things that I can do. Like I'll do a print sale, and I'll have, 40 people want to buy prints, which is like, I would say that's a lot of people who want to like spend money in like a small niche market, right? When you look at like people or like bad stories on Instagram when someone has like 50,000 followers and they try and sell a shirt.
Yeah, what was that? Someone like had like 1 million followers and showed like 3 shirts or something.
So like,
it's brutal.
Now that you're seeing that kind of world, are you working with anyone like that who have like a very niche market?
I'm not working with, I wouldn't say like I'm directly managing that scale of individual, but I think I would draw a lot of inspiration from that type of engagement with their, your followers, for example, how you engage with them and how they're playing off of or responding to what you're putting out there. I think like being able to draw some inspiration for that into how people with a whole lot more followers are producing their own content and interacting with the people that are following them. I think what it comes down to is like the people who are going to buy your prints are probably people who are, really respect you. And what do they respect you for? Maybe they know you personally. Right. It's a lot harder to, know 1 million people on a personal level.
That's true.
But how do you communicate that level of personal, connection on a platform? And I think, getting more into Instagram stories and just like being open and honest. People are getting way wiser to influencer marketing and whatnot. Things can totally fall flat if you're being, if you're just bullshitting someone. Right. I think that people can really pick up on that these days, even if there isn't like a hashtag sponsored, hashtag in there somewhere. People are going to just call you out and they're not going to buy your shirt or what
exactly.
it may be.
Do you help your the people that you represent, like you give them that kind of guidance, or do they for the most part know what they're doing, or how does that kind of process
It really
work?
depends on the individual. There are people that I'm corresponding with on WhatsApp kind of on like an hourly by hourly basis every single day, where there is a whole lot more back and forth on strategy and what kind of content they're producing and kind of larger goals. And then for some people, it's just kind of, I'm working with them on the strict basis of just kind of, managing the brand partnerships for larger partnerships it might be, a few projects here and there. One thing I try to do with my company, which is good fun, is offer something that a lot of other talent agencies or talent management companies don't offer, which I think is highly personalized service. So my roster of talent that I represent is really, really tight. Kind of it varies from month to month or year to year from, kind of 10 to 15 main people that I'm working with, where I have really strong relationships with those people. I think that that's way more important than just trying to sign a whole bunch of people and just overmanage things and just kind of fall to the wayside of the personal connection there. So that's what I try to do. And does that answer the question? I forget where I was going with that.
No, that's definitely what I wanted to hear. Yeah, let's take a look at your website or your reel, or see who you're kind of managing right now. A sec. First of all, great work. And second of all, I'm really happy that we're able to connect here, because it's always tough to like get the conversations out of the DM. And
Yeah,
into real
especially
life.
when you're so used to just connecting with people on social media, and you just like you start to think in your mind that your whole basis of your relationship is based on the DMs back and forth, like liking someone's thing or like being like, I'm so happy for you, congratulations on your engagement, or whatever it may be, that you totally forget sometimes that there's like an immense amount of value in actually connecting with someone face to face, to be able to like talk about commonalities that you have and just like the similarities, differences, and just go over it.
I feel that. So what do you want? You're telling me that you are in the midst of starting your podcast.
Yes.
What do you want out of that?
I want to have people on that are they don't follow a strict path in their lives. I'm someone who, like I talked about a little bit earlier, just like a lot of the side projects and whatnot that I've done have fed me creatively, have like led me down to, the path of where I am today. And like my creative side projects are going to lead me somewhere else. A lot of people who like just kind of refuse to follow the status quo and are out there like exploring and connecting with people and creating a community that are just doing really interesting things. That's the type of person that I want to talk to and just like kind of uncover, okay, what makes that person drive.
I love that. Well, let's go do it then.
Let's do it.
I'm down. Let's bring this guy for the
Bring the
adventure.
loaf, yeah.
Bring the loaf. Okay, let's go.